We're live again, and let me try to get this one going over here. Yes. All right, we are live. There we go. So, this is so appropriate, and let me just kind of move things out of the way. Hey, everybody. Dr. Greenebarr here, and I am live, and I should be live like everywhere. Let me just make sure that all is well. I should be live. I should be live everywhere on all of my platforms, and I thank you for your indulgence as I work on this and work through the little kinks. So this is actually quite appropriate, and I'm going to check my phone because I think that's where I'll actually be able to see any comments. And yes, I'm live. So come on and talk to me in here on this post. I'll be able to share some things with you. So listen, the behind the scenes of the Financiers Forum. And can I tell you that the behind the scenes of this forum, which is happening Thursday and Friday, in many respects might be some of the same kind of things behind the scenes of you starting your business. But this is not just a business. Financiers Forum is not just simply a business. Actually, it's an event, but it is so much more than that. And so I want to give you some of the behind the scenes. And I'm going to start with what we just experienced. So let me just kind of lay it out for you. I got a whole bunch of technology and I have used it for years. I have gone live for years and years and years. This looks like this is stuck. Lord, don't let this be stuck. I have used it for years and years and years. It should work perfectly. And then we get ready to go live and all of a sudden, different components of it not working. What do you attribute that to? What do you attribute it to? When things that should be working, all of a sudden, they're not working. And you might say, oh, well, technology has glitches, and they do. But when you are starting something, particularly like what I'm doing, where the Lord has given me this assignment, it is imperative to be able to understand the difference between normal stuff and supernatural stuff that's going on. So I think what I'll do is, in my telling you about the behind the scenes for the Financiers Forum, I can't really do that without sharing with you the spiritual aspects of what I've gone through in these past 2 years, because this is 2 years old. And let me begin with, I'm a prophet. I dream, I see, and I hear by the Spirit of the Lord Jesus Christ. Let's be clear. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Early on in the year, the Spirit of the Lord came to me and gave me a dream. He showed me in advance, in a dream, that I was walking along a path that was on the side of a mountain. So sometimes you've seen these pictures in these other countries where they have these really narrow roads that are along the side of a mountain, a windy mountain. So think that as an example. So in this dream that the Lord gave me, and this was a forewarning, this was giving me insight ahead of time, okay? Because nothing was happening in my life, right? So God was communicating to me ahead of time. And on this road, it was a very narrow path, one narrow path. On my left was the side of the mountain. On my right was the edge of the mountain. So there was nothing there but a cliff. Okay, so I'm walking on this mountain, and on my right side is the angel of the Lord assigned to me. So I'm walking, the angel is on this side, but kind of behind me, protecting me so that I don't fall off this cliff, right? So I'm walking, and then as I'm walking in my path, there's debris along the path. And so, you know how you take your foot and swipe something off out of your way? That's what I did, because the path was narrow, couldn't go around it. So I took my foot and I swiped it off. Kept moving. It wasn't very many more steps, and here's some more stuff. Whoop, swipe it off again. By the third time, the angel of the Lord instructed me to look up and look out. And as I held up my head and I looked further down this windy around this mountain, I saw debris after debris after debris after debris. And so the Spirit of the Lord was telling me very clearly that this debris is placed there to slow your momentum, and it was small things. That's why I was able to just take my foot and just kind of kick it off, to slow my momentum. And since I realized that the Lord was showing me in advance that there's going to be things that are going to come up to slow your momentum as you're going down this road, I began to seek the Lord. I'm, trained. My mind is trained as an engineer and as in theology, but I'm thinking more engineering. So I'm thinking, okay, God, let me understand how to really address these obstacles, right? So that's where my prayer began to move. I'm giving you behind the scenes. So throughout this year, starting in January, as I'm moving towards July for the Financiers Forum, this debris stuff was popping up everywhere. And it was popping up more so in my technology. Silly, crazy things, abnormal things that I would have to call my tech support team and say, hey, this isn't working. And they come back to me and say, this isn't happening on anybody else's account. We'll figure it out. That happened on a regular. And I didn't get flustered because I knew what this was, to slow my momentum. So I didn't let it frustrate me in my soul. So that was one thing that I was going through. And I had to continue to remember, okay, this is another piece of that obstacle, and begin to command it off my road. I would, before I would call tech support, I would begin to command the situation by the Spirit of the Lord and this obstacle, because I didn't know what the obstacle, the nitty gritty of it, but I knew that what I was facing was meant to slow my momentum. Okay, this is behind the scenes stuff. So fast forward to the month of July. The month of July is a packed month for me. My son's birthday is on the 4th of July. My birthday is on the 12th of July. And my baby girl's birthday is actually today, the 23rd of July. Our month is packed, just celebrating life, right? Because those two people are my miracles. I had to believe God for them. They are legit miracles, okay? So the month was packed. So when the month began, that's when the Lord had to come back to me and start showing me what was happening in the realm of the Spirit as I was working to actually get communications out for the Financiers Forum. I'm telling you, behind the scenes spiritually. Okay, so then here comes another dream. It's like, Dad, Dr. Greenebarr, you had some intense dreams. Well, I'm a prophet. I see and I hear. Okay, so the next thing I know, I'm getting another dream. And I won't give you all the details of it, but in this dream, I'm in a room and I need to exit the room to go out. And the room really represents the place of preparation, and out is to actually execute the Financiers Forum. Okay. And I turn and I look at the door to go out, and the whole wall where the door is full of debris. Full of debris. I mean, boxes and just, it was barricaded. I was barricaded inside with this debris that was blocking not just the door, but the wall of the door. Okay. And so I look at this, and the next thing I know, this thing comes by and proceeds to attack me and to bite my right hand, particularly this finger, my index finger. And as it comes to bite at me, to physically attack me in the spirit, then all of a sudden a glove just comes on my hand before the thing can bite me. So when it goes to bite, all it gets is a mouthful of this black glove. And I know that that's the covering of the Lord. So I'm like, okay, this is nuts, but I understand what it means. Then as I turn again to go to the door, all of a sudden this dog, like wolf dog, is in front of me and is growling at me. What a bloodthirsty growl. That kind of growl that is meant to intimidate you, scare you, so you will become paralyzed and not move. I'm giving you behind the scenes spiritually of the Financiers Forum. Now, how do these things translate into physical things? It translates into blockages that happen when you're trying to get information, you're trying to put two and two together. The biggest blockage of all has been my Facebook Meta account in terms of trying to do my ads, because in January, the Book of Faces, they got hacked, and some of us got hurt because they got access to our accounts. Since then, I have had the craziest level of obstacles trying to get my account where I can actually do ads. Even to this day, I can't do it the way I'm supposed to. Yeah, momentum. So for me to be able to advertise, that meant I couldn't really advertise on Facebook for the Financiers Forum. So I had to take a step back and say, okay, I need some other avenues. So this is how what I have seen in the spirit ahead of time is manifesting in the natural. I'm giving you behind the scenes. Okay. So I had to find other avenues. And so I had to go over to Google Ads, and it's just been a press. Okay. So that me being able to get out of that room, I'm the one carrying the vision. So though that whole wall being barricaded, that was to keep me inside and not getting it out to the people. That's to keep the vision inside, because I'm the vision bearer. I'm bearing this. I'm bringing this vision forth because it was given to me, and it is my responsibility to bear it and bring it forth. So to barricade me inside the room was to barricade the visions. Now, why you say all this is important? Because I want you to understand what I've been going through behind the scenes. And I've been going through it because the Lord allowed me to have some experiences so that I can help people who have been having these experiences. You can do things by theory, and then you can do things by experience and revelation. Okay? It's as simple as that. And I had not had these kinds of experiences because I never tried to build this kind of a business before. I've had to manage businesses and administrate policies and stuff, but this is more apostolic, growing this thing from the ground up and being able to understand what people have been going through who have been trying to take their vision, their passion, and create a business out of it. And especially for those of us who are centered in our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, and we are doing business to the glory and honor of God and to serve our fellow people, to serve our local economy. Some of us have global businesses, right? So you all who have been on this path much longer than I have, you have had obstacles, but I wonder if you were able to discern the difference between just a natural thing or when something is supernaturally trying to hinder you. And this is some of the behind the scenes that I have gone through so that I am able to understand what you're going through and to be able to help you to discern what God is trying to tell you in advance. So I've been going through all of this. But God knew that I have a whole lot of tenacity, a whole lot of grit, because I've been through a lot of things. I've been through some things that have crushed others, and I'm yet here, okay? But in this business arena, when you are in places where people say they're going to help you and they disappear, they just disappear, or they send you off on, wild goose chases. Is that what they're called? They send you off on these different paths that do nothing but spend down your time. And we can't get time back. Time is a commodity. We can't get it back. And when we are sitting on our computer and someone says to you, "Oh, you should run over here to this networking meeting and run over here to this meeting and go search it out on the internet." It takes time to search things out on the internet. Listen, if you needed information and I had it, and if I share with you what I know, I have redeemed your time. How many of you know that the Lord wants your time redeemed? You've wasted a whole lot of time trying to get information about what you could use to advance your business. The business that you know that the Lord put it in you. He gave you the skill for your expertise. He gave you the idea. And some of you have walked away. Let's talk about it. Some of you have walked away from what the Lord has given you to do because the behind the scenes stuff was too much. It wore you down, especially if you did not understand what really was happening behind the spiritual scene that you were going through. And so you're just like, "Hey, I'm done. I don't need to do this. I can just work a job." I was talking to someone last month and they had a business. And they were at the point of, "Well, I don't know what I should do. If I should just keep trying to do this, I can just go get a job." And they asked me, Reverend Greenebarr, well, they called me Reverend Green because they knew me before I got married. "Reverend Green, I don't know what Lord wants me to do." And the Spirit of the Lord showed me very clearly. The Spirit of the Lord showed me very clearly. Do not abandon this business. Don't. Do not abandon this business. That's not what the Lord wants you to do. Okay? And why do we abandon it? Because the behind the scenes, the spiritual behind the scenes, can sometimes become too much. And if we don't have anybody who can help us understand it and navigate it and discern it, then we're just out here trying to wrestle against flesh and blood when we should be dealing with these principalities, powers, and spiritual wickedness in high places. These are some of my behind the scenes that it took to get to this week, so that I could bring to you the Financiers Forum so that you could have the information you needed. Check this out. Last week I shared with you from Jeremiah, where the Lord told Jeremiah to go to the potter's house. And you know that story if you're a believer about going to the potter's house. But here is the thing I told you then, I'm going to tell you again. When Jeremiah received his call, and my call came out of Jeremiah, that's why this is so close to my heart. When Jeremiah received his call, God came to Jeremiah right where he was. Right where he was. Go read Jeremiah 1. Jeremiah, right where he was, God showed up. He opened his ears to announce his call to him. He opened Jeremiah's ears to announce his call. He spoke the call to Jeremiah. When he finished opening Jeremiah's ears to hear the call, what was the next thing he did? The next thing he did was to say to Jeremiah, "I'm getting ready to open your eyes." What do you see, Jeremiah? First his ears were open, then his eyes were open. And then he went through the process, "You have seen well." Jeremiah was right where he was. But when God comes to Jeremiah in chapter 18, he says to Jeremiah, a man who can see where he is, he says to Jeremiah, "Go to the potter's house, and there I will cause you to hear my word." Well, wait a minute. What, now Jeremiah has to go certain places to hear God? He's been hearing God just fine where he was. But this level of instruction, this level of hearing, required him to go someplace so that God could open his ears to a deeper revelation. He goes, he sees, he gets the revelation. I am here to tell you that there is revelation concerning your business that will require you to come to the Financiers Forum. And so that's why the enemy has been fighting me to keep the vision from being brought forth so that you would have a place to go to. It's equivalent to the potter being hindered from getting the resources to get the clay and the wheel and all of that, because the potter had to be in place when Jeremiah showed up at his house. But if the potter wasn't there, and not just there, but literally working the clay, he had to be in the process of working the clay when Jeremiah showed up, because otherwise it would have just been a trip. But there would have been no revelation to hear, because he first got, in order for God to give him something to hear, he had to have something to see. So everything had to be in order with the potter. Are you all catching what I'm presenting to you? The behind the scenes that I've been going through. Oh my God. The behind the scenes that I've been going through is so that this thing can be birthed, brought out of this room, so that you can come to the place, the Financiers Forum, so that God can cause you to hear what he is seeking to say to you about what you are doing with your life, your business, for your family. Get this, your legacy. So I just wanted you to know some of the things that I've had to walk through, fight through, pray through. And I'm going to tell you this. I've got a couple of friends who stand in places in the spirit that intercede for me and with me, that I call and say, Prophet, can you see? Can you hear? And I'm grateful for them. I am grateful for the Lord's people who stand with and cover me as I work to birth this thing on your behalf. So that's a little bit of the behind the scenes. You know what I want you to do now? I want you to make sure that you're going to be in the place where you can hear what God is going to say and show you concerning your life, your business, your legacy. The Financiers Forum is in a couple of days, Thursday and Friday. And you need to plan to be at both days, because the way the vision is designed, it's not just for you to kind of come in. This is not your regular conference where somebody does a data dump on you. No. You need to block out this time. You need to spend this time with me, and you need to spend this time with the heroes, and you need to spend this time with other people who are going to be there. It is worth the investment of your time, your travel, and your registration. It is worth it. I promise. Because what you're doing, there's going to be some spiritual behind the scenes, and you are going to need to get the revelation that God has for you. I want you to go register. The website is thefinanciersforum.com. Don't let my southern drawl get in the way. thefinanciersforum.com. Wherever you are watching this, there's a link somewhere on that page to get you to the registration. Go on and do your registration today. It is better to do it today, and it blesses me today as opposed to you just showing up on that day. You know what I'm saying? So go on and register today. This is a business expense that you can write off on your taxes. And if you've already gotten all of your business expenses, for those people who have very successful companies, this is a marketing expense. Let's talk about it. Give me a call. My phone number and my website and my email addresses are all easily available. I want you to go on and register. Go on and register. You need to be at the place so that God can cause you to hear what he wants to say to you concerning your life, your business, your legacy. All right? If you have any other questions for me, email me, call me, but let's get yourself registered. I'm not sure if I'm going to come live tomorrow, because I really need to spend some time just making sure that my spirit and my soul is ready to greet you on Thursday morning. We start at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. The Sheraton in Chapel Hill. But you'll get all that information once you register. So go ahead and register, and I'll see you Thursday morning. And we're going to deal with the things that are on the table ahead of you that you can physically see, and those things that are behind the spiritual scenes. All right? Have a great day. I'm Dr. Cecelia Greenebarr. It's going to be my pleasure to spend 2 days with you. Hope you feel the same way about spending 2 days with me. See you later. Oh my. Yes, that's